Alrighty, you guys. So, this video, as you read the title, is going to be about how I got into throwing big baits and why, and how you can start throwing big baits as well. Now, first thing, real quickly, is you know what really bothers me a lot is I try to do a video and people keep bothering me. That really bothers me a lot because then I have to redo the video all over. I already had to redo this video twice. Yeah, this is the third time, so hopefully it'll work out this time. Maybe, probably won't, but yeah. First big bait I ever bought was these here, not these, but this here, an 8-inch Strike King bullworm, and this here is another 8-inch straight tail worm as well. Now, as you probably watched my other video on the top 10 baits of the year. You probably already watched that, so you guys know why I started throwing bigger worms, them 8-inch worms. So yeah, probably I won't get into detail on that. Then I got this big frog. Now this big frog was a mistake, but I might use it in the future. I'll show you a real quick comparison. This here's a 12-ounce can. That's the frog next to the 12-ounce can. Quite a bit of size difference there. Between this frog and your normal frogs, there's a lot of differences. I ain't going to get another frog out because I'll have to go digging through my tackle box. But yeah, this is a huge frog. Had no clue it was actually this big until I opened the package up when I got it. So yeah, that I don't know if I'll ever really use a whole lot, but I probably will at some point. Next big bait I bought was these here. These are what is the company called? Gambler Big Easies. Now this here is a 7/0. I think it's like a 3/4 ounce weight hook. It's a big hook with a big swim bait. So yeah, that's a big swim bait. And next is big Whopper plopper. And you guys have heard, why I bought this thing and that it catches big fish. I caught a 5-pound 2-ounce fish on this bait, which is pretty good for around here, especially at the places that I fish. So yeah, then another bait that I bought was this here. This here's a River2sea S 120. Now this is not big by any means. It's actually quite small compared to some of them, but I wanted to get into the hard swim bait fishing. And this here was basically the first one that I really liked and really used. I do have another one, but that thing sucks. It's an awful bait. I hate it. I hate throwing it. But this one here is an awesome bait, and I love throwing this thing. I'll show you the other one I got here in just a little bit. Now, another bait. Now, this bait here is not giant to some people, but to me and the jigs that I normally buy around here, this is a big jig. This is a 1-ounce Strike King Denny Brower. What is it called? Structure jig or something like that. Now this is in hard candy. It's basically a green pumpkin with purple and a watermelon red rodent trailer. This is a big jig. This is a bigger than your average jig. So yeah, that's another big bait that I got. Another bait that I have that I bought out of basically just like grab it all of a sudden and just like I'm going to get it, sort of just a real quick grab it and bought it, was this 6 cents Cloud 9 crankbait. Now, this is a huge crankbait. I would get out one of my other crankbaits, but I don't have them out yet. So I'll just show you next to this pop can again. That's the size of the crankbait. That is a huge crankbait. This is a big giant square bill that is in a really cool color. I like the color, and it's got some pretty good premium hooks on it, but it is just a monster of a square bill. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest square bill you can have, or not like it's illegal to have one bigger, but I'm pretty sure this is the biggest one that they make in the square bill world. I remember when the 8.0 came out, I remember hearing about the 8.0. That was at one time the biggest one you could get. Then this one here came out, and I'm pretty sure this is the biggest one that you can have, or that you can buy, not personally made or something like that. Then another bait that I got is this big old worm. This is a 10-inch Strike King bullworm. Now this is a huge, huge worm. Here it is compared to the 8-inch. The 8-inch is significantly smaller. It almost looks bigger than 10 inches, but it is. I measured it. This is a big, big worm. And, yeah, this thing is huge. But I guarantee you at some point, that bait will catch a fish. And it'll probably be a big one. Then, another big bait. Now, this bait is probably not small to some people. You know, some people down on, like, El Santo, I think I said that right, down in Mexico, would think this is just a normal spinnerbait, but from around here, this is a huge spinnerbait. This is a big Strike King deep dweller spinnerbait. I bought this off of Tackle Warehouse. This is a 1-ounce spinnerbait, and actually they make bigger, but this here's the biggest one I own. That is a very, very big spinnerbait in a white and blue color. Then one of my smaller swim baits, but it is pretty big. I think this is the last one on the table. Then I got 2 on my rods right here that I'll show you. Is this Castaic trout swim bait. Now around here, there's only one place that I know of that has trout in it. But as far as I've heard from like Tactical Bass and all them people, is that these trout swim baits can work even in places that don't have trout. So I bought this little deal here. This was only like $7 or $8. You know, it's not like I'm spending $50 on a hood, but it is a trout swim bait, and it's like 5 or 6 inches long. It is a bigger body swim bait, but it's not giant like some of the hoods. Then I got this deal here. This one here I have on my bait caster. This here is a Savage Gear. It is kind of dirty. It is kind of dirty because I was casting it around a little bit, you know, getting feel for the bait caster. This here's a 6-inch, you know, big swim bait made by Savage Gear. I got it hooked up on some 50-pound braid. Probably won't fish it with this line, but I wanted to get used to it with this bait caster. So yeah, big single hook, big jig head hook. So yeah, got this on my bait caster. Probably not going to fish this bait on the bait caster. I'm probably actually going to use this bait caster as a frogging rod. Possibly, I don't know yet. I mean, it's quite a ways away from now until next time I'm going to be able to use a frog. But I think that this is going to be my frog rod for next year. Just because I like the braid on it. It looks good. Then this here is my biggest swim bait that I own. This here is the big S-Waver, not the giant. It's not the giant S-Waver that they sell. But this here is the bigger S-Waver that I own. I do have this on some 50-pound braid as well. I believe this is 50-pound. I might be wrong. It may be a little bit bigger than that. But yeah, this here is the big S-Waver. This is the 168 size, huge S-Waver, huge bait. You know, it's something that I don't expect to catch a lot on, but I do expect to catch a big one on it. I'll show it to you. The small one compared to the big one, there's quite a bit of size difference. You know, the hook size is actually not super different. And that's something that I like about this S-Waver 168 is it doesn't have giant hooks on it like some other swim baits I've seen have. They have these big giant hooks that you don't really need on a bait this big. You know, this one here got pretty good hooks on it. This is in the warden color also. So yeah, this is a good swim bait. I've cast it around before. I've used it while fishing and didn't have no bite. Actually, no, I actually did have a bite on this bait, didn't I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, not the last time I was out, but the second to last time I was out at the pond that I normally go to, I'm pretty sure I actually had a bite on this bait. Either that or it was a stick or something, but I'm pretty sure I had a bite on it. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. If you do, wait, hang on, I'm not done. Let me check the time real quick. Oh, I'm only 10 minutes in. Let me get a drink real quick. Okay, so I completely skipped like part of this video. But the reason why I got into these baits was that I'm in an area where Senkos, trick worms, inline spinners, little crankbaits, little lipless crankbaits, those are normal. Those are something that everybody throws. All the bass fishermen throw them. Little 7-inch power worms, that's something that everybody throws. Now you go fishing with somebody. Say you're going fishing with your fishing partner or somebody you've never fished with. They're throwing a 7-inch power worm and they're catching 10, 15 fish, but they're all 12 inchers. You break this thing out, this big 10-inch bullworm, you cast it out there, catch a 10-pounder. That guy would have never caught it on that 12 or that little 7-inch bait because that fish wanted something big and slow moving, and it went by him and they ate it. That's why I started throwing bigger baits, like the swimbaits, like the big worms, plus, I already bought them, so I started fishing them. I just got to thinking, bigger baits equal bigger fish. That's obvious. Smaller baits equal more fish, yeah. But you're going to have to weed through like 20 small fish to catch that 1 10-pounder when you can go and throw all them little fish away and focus on only the big fish. Now, say you're fishing something like this big swimbait or this big spinnerbait. You're fishing this, and your buddy's over here fishing a little bitty, mini king spinnerbait or a normal size spinnerbait. What's going to catch the bigger fish? This big old giant spinnerbait with the big blades, the big skirt, the big head, or that little one? Now, every once in a while, the littler one will catch big fish, but this one here is going to get more bigger bites. You're fishing a big Huddleston type swimbait, or a swimbait like this. You're fishing that, a krill crawling across the bottom. With one like that, you'll probably catch like 2 and 3 pounders pretty easy, but you're more going to target those upper class fish. Now, when you're doing a tournament, sometimes that's good to do, sometimes it's not. I've never done a tournament. I've done just friend bets, with my dad and my brother, even though my brother's not really into bass fishing, but, I've done bets with people and stuff like that, and I've won most of them. And, I've done bets with my whole family, my mom, my dad, and my brother, all on one team versus me, and I've won. And I've caught big fish, and I've caught a lot of fish. And it's just, what would you rather do? Would you rather catch a limit quick? One thing that if I do tournaments next year, one thing I want to do is I'm going to have one bait tied on that's going to be my quick limit getter. One bait that you're going to get a limit quickly on, and then have your big stuff like this here that's going to catch you your kicker fish, your fish that's going to win you the tournament. Once you get a limit, you can at least weigh in your limit, but you want to get a bigger limit, so you start throwing bigger stuff. So that's the reason why I throw bigger baits, like Whopper, plopper, S-wave, or big jigs, big top waters, all that stuff. So I hope you guys like this video. If you do, smash the like button. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We just hit 120 subscribers. Super excited about that. That's pretty cool. Got like 20 subscribers in 2 weeks. Hope you guys like this video. See you later.